This is John Bench Fisherman. Let's do something easy today. Oh, I might jinx myself. I've got a well-used 2600C Silver Series Daiwa. Some of my favorite reels. This one's functional. It's really gummed up. I've got a few of these in my collections. I don't know what I'm going to do with this one. Grungy. A lot of dirt on this reel. Looks like it was stored in a pet's cage. Everything's there. That comes out. It's a little bit different. I don't remember them being made like that, but whatever. We'll go with it. Drag apart. This would be a newer model. This is not one of the old ones like I'm used to. Here's your drag. It's got this big plastic bushing. I guess it just slides down there. We won't worry about that. Here's how the drag stack goes. Oops. That washer stuck. I jinxed myself. This whole reel is just going to be kind of grungy like this because it's just been sitting around for a while. The leather washer stuck a little bit, but it'll be okay. It's just all metal. These washers have been slipped a few times. We'll get those back in order. They're not in the correct order there, so don't go by that. All right, we'll take the handle off. This will be a good user reel if everything comes apart on it. Okay, it'd be good. We'll just take out on the beach. You know, you're not. It'll handle good fish. You know, it's not a collector reel by any means. It's not in that good a shape. In fact, a lot of things just plain crusty on it. We'll get it back in good shape. For instance, that right there is really crusty. We'll give it a little help there so I can get all the threads to clean them up. There we go. See here? Now it's working right. Okay, we'll pull the cover. The biggest nemesis on these reels is these screws get corroded and they lock up tight, especially that one. That one. Those two screws come out, this reel is going to be fine. I have done hundreds of these Silver Series reels. These reels were the cream of the crop in the 80s, 70s, and 80s in the surf fishing world around the Outer Banks. Of course, the world record drum was caught on a 7,000 world record red drum in 1982. Great, just dirty, you know. So far, it's just dirty. We'll take that Phillips head out right there. Pretty rusty. Even on the inside, that's kind of odd. And you slide your gummy old shaft out. Clean that up. Now, you slide that back out of the way. You should be able to pull the whole shaft out of it. Doesn't want to go though. It's stuck. I have to give it some help on this side. Yeah. Pretty grungy. I don't know if I got the right size punch here or not. We'll try it and see. Haven't had to use my hammer in a while. It's coming out. There's the crosswind gear. It came out. Then there's the bushings and the gear. And that's not supposed to come out like that, but it's not going to hurt it. Okay. This is fun. This rotor was loose. I should not be able to loosen that up with my fingers. Okay, up under here. Don't really have to take this apart. I'm just going to clean up and it's free. I think I'm going to leave those alone. We will take that off. Take the retainers off. Retaining screws, retainer plate. Got to do that to get the pinion out. Waking up to some snow on the ground this morning. I think we had like 3 or 4 inches. So as soon as I get done with this reel, I'm going to go out and clean the driveway off. Always fun stuff. Okay, there is that. There is one bearing in here. We'll clean it up good and see how it is. Do I want to take that out or not? Yeah, I'm going to take this out. I'm going to leave this, but take this. No, let's do it all. You only live once. Yeah, no, I ain't taking that out. We will take this out. So when I get done with this, everything on the rotor comes apart. It'll be a buildable reel. If everything on the rotor is locked up, broken, then it's going to be a parts reel. Because I've got a few of these in my collection. And I could always use some spare parts. I do still fish with them. Pop that out. That shaft can slide out of there and we'll clean that up. This will get cleaned up pretty good. Yeah, it's pretty grungy. All right. Well, the roller's free, so that's always a good sign. Look at the dirt. I just realized a lot of dirt to it. That's a good sign that came loose. Oh, crusty. Part went flying somewhere. I don't know where it went. There it is. Keep them all together. This should have a liner under it. Maybe not. Well, no liner on that one. It's pretty clean though. Okay, test number 1. We'll give it a little bit of help. We'll shoot some pearl down in there from the front and the back. The hole goes all the way, it's a through hole. So if you do have to drill it out, something. Let's do this. Come on. Oh, that's amazing. Look at that. Same thing on this one. A little bit of curl. It is a through hole. Give them all the help they can get. We'll take this screw out first. for the bail. This reel is going to be good. It's going to be a usable reel. I'm going to give this to my kid. He lives down the coast now, and these are great little surf reels because you can't destroy them. You can bite a hell of a fish on them, and if something happens, it gets sand in it or whatever, they're easy to repair. And you're not out nothing if it gets drug into the water. Well, let's face it, if you surf fish, it happens. So, okay, then the bail spring's good. Put that out there. And this reel is going to be nice. I'm going to go ahead and clean it up before I head out to the driveway. Put it back together another morning. There it is. The whole reel. Isn't that something? Let's check this bearing out here. Bearing still seems tight. Show you how I check them out. Take a tapered punch, slide it into it. Rest the center race rest on the punch and give it a spin. And while you're spinning it, you can always oil it. Work that oil in. Wow, it gets, look how smooth. For all those years, that bearing is perfect. You can still get bearings for these reels, or it's a common size bearing. You just have to measure it and order it. All right, let's clean it up. I'll be back. Hey, this is John. I'm back. It's 2600C. Man, it was dirty. It was really dirty. I got it all. Ooh, it's cold down here this morning. It's 48 degrees in the garage. So if you see breath coming out into the camera, but anyway, where should we start here? Start with the rotor. Wipe it down. I haven't been using my air compressor to blow these things off with after I clean them, and mostly because of the noise. My other house, I live there by myself. I don't care about noise, but there's other people living here, and I don't want to wake them up. So I'm trying to be courteous, not use the air compressor so much. Oops, that wasn't good. Not use the air compressor so much in the, it's 4 o'clock in the morning here, folks. So I couldn't sleep, so let's do a fishing reel. Yeah, maybe closer to 5 o'clock now. Hell, I don't know. Let's do let's put the bail together. These wires are pretty much the same both ends. I ran into this just a little while ago on a wire was sticking through on a Daiwa Daiwa bait caster, and it was probably because the wire was a little bit different length. The bend in it was longer on one side and the other, and I'm going to be more cognitive of that going into the future with these reels. On this one here, you can start that small screw right there. Just get it started, and then this will just slip up into it. And you don't want to really tighten it all the way down until you get the bail arm on it. You can kind of hold it in place. It's going to be a really nice reel. After I cleaned it up, I found a few things on it I'm going to talk about as I go through this. Let's see. You'll hook that wire up into that hole right there. You just kind of got to pop that in place. Then this goes in there. This screw here has a step in it. These two screws are very similar. This one with the Teflon washer goes through the roller. This is a manual bell reel, so there's no trip in it. It trips off that red piece on the actual body of the reel. But you can test it just by simply doing that. Next step is to put some grease on those threads, because I'm telling you, if anything fails on these reels in disassembly, it's 9 out of 10 times those threads are just stuck. And your screws will just break off. They're brass screws, and they don't hold up. There is a difference between this screw here and this screw. This one's more around like a button head, and that one's not. It's a different looking screw. You'll figure that out as you go. We'll put a little bit of oil right here, and put your roller on there. That roller was working fine. It's still working fine. I'm going to put just a dab of grease up in those threads. You got the standoff that goes on there, like a washer, I guess. And your screw will go through into that. Tighten that down. Just make sure that roller still spins after you tighten it. Back it off just a hair. Spin it. There's the rotor. Ready to go. We'll put it right there. Next step is to place the shaft. Grease in right there. Put some grease in from the inside of that hole there, so when it pushes through, it pushes the grease through. It'll be a little tricky getting this spring back in place. Get it started in there. Jeez, I don't have it down in far enough for one thing. Put that spring into place. Got to hold this anti-reverse dog out, and then just kind of slide it in there like that, just like that. On this end, we have an ample amount of grease. It just takes the lever. It's pretty self-explanatory how it goes on there. And I'm fighting with it for some reason. Why am I fighting with it? Sake. Okay. Making a liar out of me. Should go on just like that. There it goes. And it has also a button head type screw. These are simple reels, durable, fish really well. They're noisy. They got the clicker in them. So when you throw that, that's cut your anti-reverse on and off. Okay, so next thing, freeze that up down in there. This reel was really gunky, and I'm going to talk about that as I go. A couple of things to look for on these reels. You got your bearing that will go on there, and I've cleaned that bearing up, and it's smooth as glass. We're going to go ahead and freeze that gear really well. Probably the weakest part of this reel would be the main gear is not CNC gear. It's just like a pot metal gear, but they don't seem to ever break. I mean, I'm sure they have. I've never run into one. Like I said, I've probably cleaned 1,000 of these reels. Then you got your retaining plate that will really only go one way. And then you got 3 screws that hold it in there. And I'm going to need my screw setter because it's going to get too tight for my big fingers. So got this neat screw setter. You see how it's made. Push it into the head of the screw. Everything works right. It holds on to the screw for you. You can just get it in there and get it started. I have no idea who made this tool. It was made in Oakland, California. Probably the only good thing that came out of California. HJJ Company, Oakland, California. I'm not a fan of California as a state. People are great. The state, I don't know, man. I don't know what y'all thinking out there sometimes. Feel sorry for the people in the fire, but not to get too political, but we have people over here, Western North Carolina, that are completely forgotten about already. Nobody seems to care about what they went through a few months ago. It was totally avoidable. The fires in California could have been avoided. Here we go. Tighten these down. Those are down tight, and then you got your plate that works your anti-reverse. Put it in there. That's what makes your clicking sound. We're good. We can go ahead and put the rotor on it. It's really simple. It just goes on like that. And remember, this was loose. I got this, took this reel apart. I don't know if I've got the right size already on a wrench or not. Well, we'll just use this. It doesn't have to be super tight. Nice and smooth. Now let's build the inside of it. A couple of issues here. This these bushings were frozen on this, and I may have to. What happens to these reels is these bushings swell, and they lock up on these shafts. And when they lock up the shafts, the bushing ends up spinning in the housing. That's never a good thing. So we're going to give them a little bit of a polish. That's the downfall of not being a ball bearing reel. Ball bearings fail too. Takes very little salt water intrusion to kill a ball bearing. It takes a whole lot of salt water intrusion to kill a bushing. There's a really, really rough spot in there. I'm going to try to get out of that. It's right in there somewhere. Right there. All right. We can go ahead and put the bushing down in there. I get some crud down there, and we'll try to do a little bit better job of scraping out so that bushing will completely seat down in there. It's like I said, this reel is pretty rough. Corrosion and stuff. Remarkably still working fine, just slow. We'll go ahead and put the bushing down in there. I've got to go ahead and put this crosswind gear in. Grease that up good. You got 2 slides on that crosswind gear. Top for the crosswind block. One down here at the bottom. One up in there. And this crosswind gear can get a coat of grease. Put it in there. Run the crosswind, the knob, all the way back. Now I have seen those fail. Go ahead and put the crosswind in there. Crosswind block. Let's use the right terminology here. It goes in like this. That. Seriously. Yeah. The hands, man. The hands just, they don't want to work when it's cold. I don't know how I ever did the field service tech out working in 0-degree weather. But I got it done. There we go. That's in there. Now, here, we're going to grease all this up really good. You could use oil in these bushings, but I think the grease is going to do a little better for this older reel. If it were newer and tighter tolerances, I'd say use some oil on the bushings. Generally speaking, grease for bushings, oil for bearings. Generally speaking. That goes in there just like that. You got 2 shims. One out here on this end. I did confirm they were both on the same end. Grease this bushing. Flange of the bushing goes down. And the last step, let's clean that where that bushing seats. That's real critical, because if it doesn't seat in there good, if it can't seat all the way down, it's going to change the stack height, cause interference. And we'll put a little dab of grease in those screw holes, keep them from ever sticking again. Supposed to go a week without snow here. I'm not complaining. It's been a run. We've had 2 snows in 6 days. And actually, one was really more of a, oh, y'all are supposed to holler at me and say, you forgot something there, John. I gotta put the axle shaft back in there. It won't work without it. Hang on. I did polish that shaft up. You can see it was pretty bad shape. I got ahead of myself. I'm excited. I want to get this reel done and get with the next one. I've gotten caught up pretty good the last few days. Pretty excited about that. All right. So, back on the regularly scheduled program here. I cleaned that up because it was a little rough. I'll throw some oil on that. And it's got to slide up into that crosswind block. Then line that hole up right there. and definitely give that some grease. And get started. All right. Now we can put the cover on it. Reel was just not maintained, but it survived without being maintained. That's always a good sign. My last day off before I go back to work, I have not worked since December 20th. Off work, holidays, and I got sick, wound up in the hospital. Feeling much better. Thank you for all the comments asking how I'm doing. I appreciate that. I'm a lot like y'all. I follow a lot of guys on and ladies on YouTube, and you get to kind of know them. You feel like you know something about them, and I worry about them when something happens to them, and I appreciate y'all worrying about me. Really do. It means a lot. We'll put some oil all over this handle. I cleaned this handle up pretty good. This is how you fold the handle on this thing. You got this. I really thought that was neat. Daiwa did that, and they're not the only manufacturer, but I like the way they did it the best. And we'll throw a little bit of oil on this. We'll put a little bit of grease in the end. I do everything with I crank with my left. How we're going to keep it in your retaining screw. It should have that little Teflon washer. It's what seals the saltwater intrusion out of the reel. That's made to use a coin. I'll show that to you here. If I can find my well, can't find it now. Well, we could use this as an example. Let's just say this end of this is a nickel. You can use it to tighten the handles up. You don't have to have a screwdriver is what I'm trying to say. That way you can switch your handle from left to right. Okay. Line up. Now this is tricky on these reels. Because if you pick your line up right there, it's kind of hard to get it to. You got to kind of pick it up when it just goes past that. It's easier to do when I got it on a rod. But anyway, you get the understanding of it. Let's wipe it all down. Reel was not very smooth when I got it. It's pretty damn smooth now. And I do need some oil on the paddle. A little crunchy. There we go. All right. Man, that's as smooth as a modern day reel, that's for sure. This piece, this is your line out clicker, and it just slides on that. It can actually slide on there first. We're just going. Let's do that. No, let's don't. No, that won't come out. All right, drag. That's a leather drag. We'll put a little bit of cows on that. Just a little. That one goes in first. No, I'll take it back. This one goes in first. This was a double stack. Let's go with the harder one first against that plastic. And then this real soft leather. And then it got one of these. And then you're going to put, I always put just a drop of oil on these Teflons. In there. Drop of oil. Then your eared washer. And drop of oil. And another Teflon. Drop of oil. And your last heat washer. And then you get your, that may not exactly be the way the stack goes, but it will work just fine like that. They change these things up over the years. This is a, I want to say this is a newer model of this reel. But then again, it's got the rivet holding the data tag on the spool. That's kind of old school stuff there. I don't know. We'll put that on there. You can hear your line out clicker. We'll go with a little dab of grease. Drag knob adjuster. That reel is in good shape. It's complete. Sorry, I keep bumping into that mic. Tighten this drag all the way down and give it a slip. Oh, it locks up. That's awesome. You could really handle a fish on this bad boy. A lot more than it's made to handle. Yeah, I like that. It's about as smooth as it gets. Excited about that one. We'll give this to my son, let him play with it in the surf down off North Carolina. Put on a decent little, probably like an 8 or 9 foot surf rod. There it is. Daiwa 2600C. I can't really tell if it's an older or newer model. It is made in Japan, so that's a good sign. Like it. Of course, most guys that were using these things back then, after they cast it, flip it by hand. You know. If you like the video, like it. If you want to see more of them, you're going to get 2 videos a week right now until I change things, or if I change things. So subscribe to the channel. And most of my videos between 40 minutes and an hour and a half. So it doesn't tie you up too long. Or if you're on a bathroom break at work, it's always a good time to watch. But anyway, this is John, Vintage Fisherman. Thanks for watching. I'll be back.